guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make my famous Sunday ragu. Now, every Italian household has their own Sunday sauce or gravy, whichever way you call it. I call it sauce, but hey, everyone does it differently. This is my family recipe that's been handed down to me for, it's been in our family for generations and generations. So, I didn't change a thing. This is just the way we make it, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you guys. So let's go with the ingredients. You're gonna need 1 pound each of Italian sausage, hot or sweet, whatever you like, 1 pound of chopped up chuck, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 medium diced onion, some tomato puree, red wine, preferably Merlot, and you're also gonna need extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, and of course, basil. Right? And now I'm going to be serving this with some cavatelli. I'll tell you guys all about that later on. But for now, it's time to go over to the stove and start cooking. Now, in a big pot over medium-high heat, you want to heat up about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I am using my big pot from my new analog cookware set that I'm just loving right now. And this is perfect because it's going to make so much sauce and it's going to be able to hold all of it. So in here, I'm going to add my ground beef first. So go ahead and add that. Just using my wooden spoon to kind of break it up, just like so. And I'm going to season this with a little salt and pepper. Of course, I start with the pepper. I wonder why that is. I just don't know why. Now we're going to cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's pretty much brown on all around. And then we're going to add in the remaining ingredients. Now I just removed my ground beef so I can add in my chuck that's been cut in large chunks. And I'm adding everything in stages because I don't want everything to steam. I want it to kind of sear and get a nice amount of color before we put the whole thing together. So a touch more salt and a little bit more pepper. Not too much because, we want to keep everything balanced, but you do want to make sure everything gets seasoned well. So let that cook till it browns on all sides, and then I'm going to remove this and add the sausage. Now I removed my beef chunks, and now I add in my sausage. And like I said, I'm cooking the sausage exactly the same way I cooked the beef. I just want to get a nice amount of color on all sides. It just gives everything a nice deepened flavor, so that it's not like we're just putting meat in a sauce with no flavor. When you sear it, it develops all those beautiful juices, and look at that. See, it caramelizes around there? That's flavor. So you want to make sure you do that on all sides, and then we're going to remove it and add the onion. Now, once all my meat is brown, I removed it all onto a plate, and now to the same pan with those drippings in it, I'm going to add in my onion. And you might have to add a little bit more oil. That depends, how much oil you start with, but a few tablespoons should do the trick. You don't want it to be too oily. I'm going to season the onion as well, very, very lightly. A touch of salt, touch of pepper. Wow, this smells so good already. It brings me back to when I was a child. Just give that a stir. And let the onions cook for about 5 to 6 minutes until they start to cook down and become translucent and adapt a little color around the edges. The onions look perfect. Now I'm just going to add all my meat back in. Going to switch hands so you guys can see all the meat juices and everything. We don't want to waste any of that. Now obviously this is a very heavy meat sauce, so if you're not a meat eater, I'm sorry, but there are plenty of dishes on my website at www.laurinthekitchen.com to choose from that are vegetarian that you can make and it'll still be delicious, but this was highly requested, so I figured I gotta make it for you guys. So now to this, I'm going to add about a cup of red wine. If you don't drink wine, you can substitute this step with beef broth. That'll be just fine. The heat level is still at medium-high. Once this comes up to a boil and the wine starts to reduce, and it'll take about a minute, then we'll add in our tomato puree. Now I'm just going to add in my tomato puree. I'm going to use about 3 28-ounce cans, and you see all this goodness. Don't do anything with it. I'm going to put water in there and wash it and put it in here. I'll show you. Just put these 3, and this makes a lot of sauce, but I'm telling you, this sauce is so good. See what I'm doing? I put a little water in here, about a 1/4 cup. I just mix that around, pour that in there. I'm going to do that to all 3 cans. I'm gonna give this a nice stir from the bottom up. Just wanna make sure everything is mixed well together. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this to come up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat to low. And then we're going to partially cover it, and that's going to cook for about 4.5 to 5 hours. I know it sounds like a lot of time, but this sauce is as good as it is because we cook it low and slow. We get all those flavors to kind of come out, and really, like that tomato just gets really thick, and the juices from the onions and the meat and everything mixed together is just like the most delicious thing on earth. So, up to a boil, low, partially covered, about 4.5 to 5 hours, stirring it every now and then from the bottom up just to make sure nothing sticks. Now while our sauce is cooking up for the last few minutes, it's been cooking for about 4.5 hours, it's now the perfect time to cook your pasta. You can choose any pasta you want with it. You can do penne, spaghetti, anything you'd like. I'm a sucker for good cavatelli, and normally I make them myself because I can't find really good cavatelli in my supermarket. However, I was lucky enough that my friends at Leone Latticini sent me their imported cavatelli, and when the package is in Italian and it's everything on it is in Italian, you know you've got a good product, right? So I'm just gonna go cook this in some salted boiling water, then I'll meet you here and finish the whole thing together. My cavatelli cooked, I drained it well, put it back in the same hot pot, and now while that's waiting there for just a second, I'm gonna finish up my sauce. To my sauce that cooked for about 4.5 hours, I'm gonna add in some fresh basil, and I'm also going to season it with salt because we didn't season the actual sauce. We seasoned like the meat part of the sauce, but not the actual tomatoes. So season that well, give this a stir. It smells incredible, to say the least. The meat at this point is so nice and tender. Now I'm just going to ladle up some sauce right into my cavatelli because I don't want them to stick. So by using a little bit of the sauce, helps them not stick. Just gonna put some in my plate here. I love Sunday because I can make my sauce because I don't have time during the week to let it cook all day. A couple pieces of meat there, some of the chuck, some of the sausage. Oh, both sausage. That's okay. I want to try a piece of that. It just melts. I don't even have to bite it because we let it cook for so long. I should probably have put some cheese on top of this first. Cavatelli without any work. Woohoo! This is so good. Brings me back to my childhood. I hope you guys have enjoyed spending time with me. Next Sunday, get in your kitchen, make my Sunday sauce. You guys are going to love it. The best part about it, this whole pot, I'm just going to divide it into containers, pop it in the fridge. It stays good in the fridge for a couple months. In the freezer, I meant. It stays good in the freezer for a couple months, and I can use it whenever I want, and I can have Sunday sauce even on a Tuesday. See you next time. Bye-bye.